Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place you come to get smart, fast, by unpacking the sources you send our way. Today we're looking at something pretty interesting, a source that promises, well, a kind of shortcut to English fluency. The idea is simple, just learn 10 new words a day. Sounds basic, maybe, but the claim is it's a fast track to gaining useful knowledge and really boosting your confidence when you speak. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. The source is called Learn 10 English Words, Daily Boost Your Vocabulary in Just 5 Minutes. And the core idea is, just consistent daily work with a small number of words, 5 minutes, 10 words. And somehow that leads to speaking English easily and confidently. Well, it sounds almost too simple, right?
Yeah. It does sound simple, but there's a solid why behind it. That's what the source gets at. It's not about trying to memorize a dictionary overnight. That never works. It's more about consistency, small steps every day. It taps into how our brains like to learn bit by bit consistently. The goal isn't just rote learning, it's practical application, building what they call a communication toolbox. So we're going to dig into the key bits here, the really important stuff about how you actually build that toolbox effectively.
Right, practical application, that makes sense. So in this deep dive, we'll explore why this method might actually work. We'll look at some of the words the source suggests specific examples, not just definitions, but how they help you express yourself better. And we'll talk about practical ways to weave these words into your everyday life. I think we might find some real aha moments about just how powerful these small, consistent efforts can be. So the source frames this journey as building your vocabulary one word at a time, giving you the tools to describe your world better. And the first word they kick off with, which kind of sets a nice tone, is serene. Meaning calm, peaceful, untroubled. The example is, she enjoyed the serene beauty of the lakeside at dawn. You could use it for a person, a place, a feeling even. It gives a very specific flavor of peacefulness.
Yeah, serene. It paints a picture. And then, interestingly, they move from that state of being to, well, an action. The next word is diligent. Hardworking, dedicated. The student was diligent in completing all his assignments on time. That's the example. And it's consistency, right?
Yeah.
Focused effort, not just working hard, but sticking with it. Discipline.
Okay, I see a thread there. From serene calm to focused diligence. And sticking with personal qualities, the next one is versatile, able to do lots of different things. He's a versatile actor who can play both comedy and drama. That example makes it click immediately. Adaptability, range. The source says use it when you admire someone's flexibility, which is a good prompt for using it yourself. Captures that dynamic quality.
Exactly. Versatile. So you see, these first few are about positive states or attributes, serene, diligent, versatile. But life isn't always serene, is it? And the source acknowledges that. Which brings up a good point. How do you describe the opposite? Or maybe a situation that really tests your diligence. That's where chaotic comes in. Completely disorganized, confused. The streets were chaotic after the festival ended. Perfect example. You can use it for anything messy, a hectic schedule, total disarray.
Chaotic. Yeah, I think my desk looks chaotic most mornings, actually. It's a very useful word. So chaotic describes the now, but what about change over time? That leads to evolve, to develop gradually. The example is languages evolve over time as cultures change. It makes you think about slow, ongoing shifts. You can use it for personal growth, ideas developing, technology. It's broad, describes progress.
That's a great point about evolve, capturing that dynamic change. And moving along, the source brings in optimistic. Always seeing the bright side. Even after losing the job, he remained optimistic about his future. It links optimism to resilience, looking forward. It's not just a word, it's presented as a whole mindset, really.
Absolutely, a mindset. And then there's global. Seems obvious, maybe. But the source points out how its meaning keeps, evolving, especially with the internet changing how we think about global communication. It's not just about maps anymore, is it? It's interconnectedness. Global economy, global trends, global impact really widens the lens.
Yeah, global has taken on so much more weight. And if you're talking about these big global concepts, or really anything complex, you want to be clear, which leads nicely to accurate, correct, no mistakes. Her report was detailed and accurate. That's the example. Think science, news reporting, even just giving directions. It's about being reliable, trustworthy. Precision matters.
Precision, definitely. And to be accurate, often you need to analyze. To examine something in detail, break it down. Scientists analyze data to discover patterns. But, as the source says, you can analyze anything, a game, a movie, a business problem. It's about digging into the parts to understand the whole, finding meaning in the complexity.
Exactly. Analyze, breaking it down. And then the last word in this particular list from the source is grateful. feeling thankful, appreciative. I'm grateful for the support of my family. And the source wraps up nicely, saying something like, ending the day with gratitude always leaves a positive impact. It's a word about connection, positive feelings. A good place to pause in their list.
It really is. So going through these 10 words, serene, diligent, versatile, chaotic, evolve, optimistic, global, accurate, analyze, grateful, you start to see the core idea really clearly. The source says it's not just about learning the word, it's about living the word. Real understanding, real fluency comes from actually using them, not just having them on a list.
Precisely. It's about active engagement. And they actually do the math for you, which is quite motivating. They say just 10 words a day equals 300 words a month. Keep that rhythm going. In 1 year, you'll master over 3,600 new words. And then they make a bold claim. They say that's more than enough to speak English confidently in any situation.
Wow, more than enough. That's quite the promise. Over 3,600 words in a year from just 10 a day. But what I find really helpful is that they don't just leave you there. They give you how to do it. Specific practice methods they suggest. Speak them out loud. Okay, that makes sense. Using your voice connects it differently in your brain.
Auditory learning, yeah. Makes it more physical.
Then use them in a sentence, which is crucial, right? Context is everything.
Absolutely. Seeing how it fits, building those connections.
Yeah, write them down in a notebook. Good old-fashioned writing helps lock it in visually and through the physical act of writing.
Kinesthetic learning, too.
Right, and maybe the most powerful one. Try making your own story using these 10 words.
Because stories stick, don't they? Our brains love narratives. It makes the words feel less abstract, more connected.
Totally. It weaves them together. These aren't just random tips. They're pretty sound ways to move from passive knowing to active use. Real mastery.
Okay, so based on that, here's a little challenge straight from the source, aimed right at you listening. Try using at least 3 of the words we talked about today, maybe serene or diligent or chaotic, analyze, grateful, any 3 in your next English conversation. Could be with anyone, a friend, a teacher. Hey, even just talking to yourself in the mirror counts. Just give it a try. See how it feels to actually use them. And maybe a final thought to leave you with, something to mull over. We've talked about fluency, confidence, but think bigger for a second. How does doing this consistently expanding your vocabulary, day by day, how might that change how you think? Does learning more words like analyze or accurate or evolve let you think more critically, see situations with more precision? Could it help you express those complex, nuanced ideas that maybe you couldn't quite put into words before? How does this daily habit shape not just your English, but maybe your whole perspective on the world around you? Something to consider.